Hey everyone, I'm Arinjay and this is the Flow Forward. We are a team of four working with Jeevit Nadi, and in this video we will be talking about how rivers are formed, their history, and how urbanization has affected rivers. So let's begin the video.
So the other day, I was reading about Africa splitting into two different continents. So, how do you think that's happening?
I think it's because of the tectonic plates movement.
Wait, so what exactly are tectonic plates?
So what I know, tectonic plates are like you can think of them as giant rigid slabs of the Earth's crust. So if you think of Earth as like a gigantic jigsaw puzzle, these tectonic plates are like all the pieces. And that's why it looks like, South America actually fits into Africa because they once were actually together and they split because of tectonic plate movements. So tectonic plates actually move because these pieces of the crust they float atop the softer and the hotter layer beneath, which is called the asthenosphere, and it behaves kind of like a thick toothpaste under pressure because it's a lot of molten rock. And there are many, many ways in which tectonic plates move. One thing is known as mantle convection, which basically means that hot material rises up from deep inside the earth, cools, and then sinks, which sets up these circular convection currents. Just like if you've read about sea breeze and land breeze, it's very, very similar, but except inside the earth. And also, new crust can be formed by something known as ridge push. So at mid-ocean ridges, older rock can slide downhill and push plates apart, which is what is happening in the middle of the Atlantic. And also, there's something known as slab pull, which is when a denser plate sinks below the mantle over a lighter plate. So, well, that's how tectonic plate movement works.
And is this somehow related to river formation?
Well, yes. So a lot of the landforms that we see around us, like the Himalayas or the Western Ghats, are all because of tectonic plate movements. So the Western Ghats, when these mountains formed, they actually created a steep plateau. So the Deccan Plateau that we have in India actually is slanted. So it's higher up in the west to the east, and this creates a tilt. So when rainfall falls on the steep western side, it forms these rivers which cut channels through this plateau. And with time, they form bigger and bigger rivers. So the major rivers that we see in Pune, like Mura, Mutha, and Bhima, they all form through this same mechanism and they flow eastward down the Deccan Plateau.
Wait, so you mentioned the Western Ghats rising. What do you mean by that exactly? Is that related to tectonic plates again?
Well, yes. So around 12 to 13 crore years ago, so the Indian plate moved northward over a mantle hotspot, which is now under the Reunion Islands. And intense heat from this hotspot caused massive volcanic eruptions and an uplift of the crust. And this caused this long, rugged mountain terrain to form, which became the Western Ghats, which we see as the Sahyadris.
Okay, so I understand how rivers are formed. But how did people manage to keep them clean all those years ago, even with waste around?
So, in the early 1700s, Pune had a smaller population and most of the waste was biodegradable. The rivers also had a very strong flow of water, which helped to, flush the waste away. And trees and plants that were, along the river would obviously help filter the water and keep the wastes and harmful substances out. Other than that, the traditional systems like tanks, canals also help to manage the water system without actually overloading the rivers, which helped in people getting access to clean water supply.
So, Sarah, do you think that these historical wastewater mechanisms could maybe solve today's problems that we have?
Yes, actually, the old systems like stone built canals, stepwells, and tanks can be very useful today because they collect rainwater, they reduce flooding, they allow water to soak into the ground, hence keeping the moisture level recharged. And But what's happening is that they are getting overpowered due to the damaged environment. So if we use all of these systems along with the modern technology, it can prove to be very effective because they're eco-friendly and cost effective.
Oh, that's wonderful. But I also heard of like an entire species of fish going extinct because of river pollution. Is that true?
Well, yes, the Deccan Mahseer used to thrive in the Mura rivers, but today it is extinct. Do you think it will ever be back?
Well, to be honest, the Deccan Mahseer was once found in rivers. It's now extinct and it doesn't really survive there. But we can bring it back. For that, we need to take up more social initiatives like we need to clean the rivers, we need to improve their water quality, we need to increase the oxygen levels in them. Along with that, we also need to protect and restore the natural habitat that surrounds the rivers so that, even they can help filter out wastes and the Deccan Mahseer can be brought back if these steps are followed correctly and collectively.
Okay, so talking about the zone around the river, what exactly are riparian forests and how are they different today and in the past?
Well, so riparian forests are woodlands that grow alongside rivers and streams. They essentially act like green buffers, which filter water and provide a habitat to the various biodiversity that lives around these rivers. In the past, around 10,000 years ago, these forests were much more denser and more widespread, and they also supported large animals like elephants. Early humans also harvested this wood and food, and they left behind stone tools on river banks. And as you know, rivers have been very, very crucial to early civilizations also. But today, many of the remaining riparian zones have been cleared for farming, towns, roads, and other construction projects. The remaining patches are much more fragmented and they're thinner. So it's very, very essential that we conserve these riparian forests that we have because they help prevent flooding, help prevent droughts, and also provide a habitat to all this biodiversity and all these various species that inhabit the banks of the rivers. So, and a lot of this destruction has happened because of industrial development in our state, in Maharashtra. And I was reading the other day that Maharashtra actually topped the list of having the most polluted rivers in India.
Oh, so do you think all of this is somehow related to the Industrial Revolution worldwide? Because what happened to the rivers that time?
Well, the Industrial Revolution from the 1700s caused serious damage to rivers worldwide. Factories kept discharging harmful waste like chemical, dyes, and oil straight into rivers without even cleaning them first. At the same time, households dumped their sewage into the very same waters. This made rivers extremely dirty and unsafe, and shows how ignoring environmental problems during industrial growth can cause big problems, and why proper pollution control and wastewater treatment is so important for cities like Pune today and in the past.
So, the Industrial Revolution has really taught us how unchecked growth can damage our rivers. And it has also made us realize the importance of urban planning. So, and this brings me to a more recent example, Pune's IT boom. How could the IT boom in Pune have been done right?
Well, during Pune's IT boom, rapid growth led to poor planning and rising pollution. If better urban planning had been done, like building strong sewage system, protecting green zones, and enforcing strict environmental laws, rivers could have stayed clean. With smart, eco-friendly planning, Pune could have balanced development with nature. Learning from this, cities must grow in a way that protects their rivers, air, and green spaces for the future generations.
Thinking about Pune's rapid growth and river pollution today really makes us wonder, has the situation of river pollution ever gotten out of hand in the past?
Actually, yes. Let's look at an event from 1800s London that sounds surprisingly familiar. The Great Stink of 1858 occurred when London's River Thames became so choked with untreated human and industrial waste that the stench overwhelmed the entire city, even forcing parliament to shut down temporarily. This crisis was a result of rapid urbanization during the Industrial Revolution without proper sewage systems in place. Similarly, Pune is facing a comparable situation with the Mura-Mutha rivers. As the city advanced, the wastewater management system could not keep up, and today the area around Mura and Mutha rivers stink due to poor management. Pune's river troubles today remind us of a similar problem in other parts of the world, both in the past and more recently. But not all stories end badly.
But I heard that a river caught fire in the USA because of pollution.
Oh, yeah, the Cuyahoga River in the USA caught fire in 1969 because it had oil and chemicals from factories. After that, people got really serious about cleaning it. The government made strict rules, and slowly the river became clean. Today, fish and birds are back in the water. So, yes, not all stories end badly.